I never thought one drink could change my life. But then again, I never thought a man in $1,000 suit would look at me like I was worth more than the whiskey I poured. It was a Wednesday night in Brooklyn, and I was halfway through my shift at Rust and Bone, a bar that smelled like spilled beer and lemon peels. The neon sign outside buzzed like a dying insect, and inside, the jukebox played a worn-out Springsteen track. Same old routine, same old faces. Until he walked in. He didn't belong there. You could tell from the way his shoes didn't squeak against the sticky floor, the way his tie wasn't loosened even after what must have been a 14-hour day. He sat down at the bar like he owned the room, but there was a weight in his eyes that betrayed him. "What's your strongest drink?" he asked, his voice smooth but brittle, like glass about to shatter. I smirked, because I'd heard that question too many times. Depends. Strongest for forgetting, or strongest for feeling? He looked at me, really looked, and for a second it felt like the whole damn bar went silent. "For forgetting," he said finally. So I made him a drink I only ever poured for myself when nights got too heavy: a dark rum and espresso mix, bitter enough to burn, strong enough to numb. He took one sip, and something flickered across his face. Not relief, not yet, but recognition, like he'd just tasted something honest for the first time in years. His name was Andrew, a lawyer, successful, polished, the kind of man mothers dreamed their daughters would bring home. And yet here he was, night after night, coming back to my bar, always asking for me. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Guys like him didn't notice guys like me. I was just Miguel, the bartender with calloused hands and a worn-out smile. But then the conversations grew longer. He started telling me things: a difficult case, the pressure of winning, the loneliness of pretending his life was perfect. And in return, I told him about my brother in Texas, about the nights I felt invisible, about the fear of wanting something I didn't think I could ever have. One night it happened. He reached across the counter, his hand brushing mine. Just a second. Just skin against skin. But it was enough to set me on fire. I pulled back, heart pounding, because I knew what that touch meant, and I wasn't sure I was brave enough to face it. "You look at me like you see me," he whispered. "Do you know how rare that is?" I wanted to tell him I did see him, that I'd been seeing him from the moment he walked in. But the words stuck in my throat, because Andrew wasn't free. He lived in a world of expectations: prestigious firm, family dinners, political donors. And I was the bartender he should never have noticed. Still, he kept coming back, and I kept letting him. But the world has a cruel way of reminding you where you belong. One evening, two men in suits came into the bar. Not like Andrew, these were predators in silk ties. They sat a few stools down and watched us. I saw the way Andrew stiffened, the way his jaw tightened. Later, he told me they were from his firm, that if anyone suspected, could ruin everything: his career, his reputation, maybe even mine. And so he pulled away. Just when I thought we were on the edge of something real, he retreated back into his world of polished lies. He stopped showing up. Weeks passed. The bar felt emptier than ever. I told myself to forget him, to move on. But every time I wiped down that counter, I remembered his hand against mine, his eyes searching for something he'd never found anywhere else. Then, on a stormy night, he came back. He was soaked, suit clinging to him, tie gone. His eyes wild with something between fear and desperation. "I can't do it anymore," he said, voice cracking. "I can't keep pretending. Not with you out there." Before I could answer, he was across the bar, pulling me into him, his lips crashing against mine. It was messy, hungry, filled with years of silence breaking all at once. And for the first time, I let myself believe this wasn't just a dream. But love, especially love like ours, was never simple. Andrew's firm found out. Rumors spread. He was forced into impossible choices between the life he'd built and the life he wanted. Between the mask and the truth. We fought. God, we fought. I accused him of cowardice. He accused me of not understanding what was at stake. But underneath the anger was fear. Fear of losing each other. Fear of the world not being ready for us. It almost broke us. Until one night, I told him, "I don't need a lawyer who wins every case. I just need the man who walked into my bar and let me see him." And for the first time, he smiled, really smiled. The next morning, he quit his firm. He chose me. It wasn't easy after that. There were whispers, there was judgment, there were doors closed in his face. But there was also laughter in my tiny apartment, stolen kisses in crowded streets, and the slow, steady building of something real. Because love isn't about winning or losing. It's about choosing. And Andrew chose me, just as I chose him. And maybe, just maybe, being a nameless bartender wasn't so bad because it led me to the one man who made me feel like I was worth everything. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.